Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is May 24th, and right now we are looking at the visible satellite imagery here, and this is marking where the sun is rising this morning. It's actually kind of a combination of a infrared and a visible satellite imagery here, and you can see our next system is already on its way out here across the Gulf of Alaska. It's going to keep some troughs coming at us here for a while, including a potential for some heavy rainfall across portions of British Columbia here, but it's going to be close to clipping portions of western Washington. We'll take a look at that here in a moment as well. Taking a look at SeaTac yesterday, you can see 61 degrees. There was some sun breaks out there, so it wasn't too bad of a day, 7 degrees below average, and of course nowhere near that all-time record high set back in 1969 of 90 degrees here as we move on in towards late May. And we're not too bad on precipitation. 1.2 inches, 1.88 is what we average for the full month of May. And here we're looking at, I believe, yes, we're looking at Hoquiam here, and you can see 58 degrees, 3 degrees below average, and 84 was the record high in 1999, and just right around average already for the month of May. So if we stopped right now, we'd still be just about average. And this is Spokane National Weather Service talking about the Memorial Day weekend outlook coming up here. This is for tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday, partly cloudy and warmer here. So we might get a nice day or two in there as well. And a chance of thunderstorms out there also. We'll take a look at that here in a moment. This was issued yesterday by the National Weather Service Spokane. Now, European on the left, GFS on the right. There's British Columbia. You can see Southeast Alaska, Washington, Oregon, Idaho. Let's put this into motion here, and you can see pretty good model agreement with our next system. It's rolling down here as we go through the day. Saturday coming up, and then we've got a deeper trough that's going to set up off the coastline here, and you see the models have come into some decent agreement on that Gulf of Alaska low here that's going to be spinning an atmospheric river at the Pacific Northwest. They're much weaker this time of year, of course, during the fall and winter months, but it's still going to bring some pretty intense precipitation amounts. I shouldn't say intense, but for this time of year, it's a pretty good soaker here for portions of British Columbia. And we'll be looking at that here in a moment, and just to see how far that atmospheric river is going to get towards western Washington. So as we scroll off out in towards next week, you can see both models have that next trough swinging through here as we go through. This would be about Wednesday night. And that's where the last night's European model run ends. We'll take a look at the extended forecast here in a moment. Taking a look at the European as of last night, you can see the precipitation coming in as we go through the day today. Again, British Columbia picking up some precipitation here, trying to get down into Oregon as well. Better for the higher terrain, but some areas of western Washington are going to get a nice bout of rainfall as we move on in towards Saturday morning. And during the day Saturday, you can see precipitation occurring, especially Seattle north here and across the higher terrain, British Columbia, Rocky Mountains, Alberta. And then we start to look up what is coming as we go through this weekend here. And you can see some precipitation hitting the Olympics, Vancouver Island here, and you can see western British Columbia, some of the Cascades picking up on that. And it does show some precipitation for western Washington. You can see kind of a sharp cutoff there, however, as you go a bit further south. And look at this precipitation continue all the way on and through Monday here, continuing to rain here across portions of western BC as we go all the way out towards Monday afternoon. Now, if we take a look here, this is precipitable water. This is the anomaly. And here's Washington and Oregon. There's the Hawaiian Islands, the bottom left. You got the Pacific Ocean here. So as we scroll through this weekend, you can see this atmospheric river feature that's going to be with us as we go on through Sunday. And again, these are weaker at this time of year, but it does show some pretty beneficial precipitation amounts into British Columbia and some of western Washington here, and that will continue on in through the early portion of next week. Now, taking a look at thunderstorm potential today, does include Spokane, but it does include northeast Washington, back down towards Pendleton, some of the Blue Mountains out here, the higher terrain of Idaho especially, and western Montana. This would include eastern BC and Alberta also. And you can see just outside of Spokane for tomorrow's be day 2, Saturday showed up there. And I'm going to be out here chasing on this day out across the plains. So I'll be bringing my setup with me, and hopefully I have enough time to get out my briefings on a daily basis while I am out. So if we go ahead and take a look at, actually, we're going to skip this one here because we're going to show that in the extended forecast. But I want to show you total precipitation in inches on the National Blended Models. As we go through the day today, you can see Seattle, getting up over 1/10 of an inch here, a little bit lesser amounts across the Willamette Valley, but the Cascades of Washington, Oregon, British Columbia, Rocky Mountains. And then you can see as we go through the day Sunday and on in through Monday, this actually skips ahead a bit here as we go from hour 54 to 90. But you kind of get the gist here as what's coming for Vancouver Island and western BC and some of the North Cascades and maybe some of the Olympic Mountains and the Rocky Mountains. This would be very beneficial precipitation here as we go on in towards the early portion and mid portion of next week. It's about Thursday morning shown right here. 1/4 of an inch for Seattle, but of course the higher terrain and further north, better amounts. Now, if we take a look at temperatures coming up, daily 2-meter max temperature for today, 58 degrees, not too hot, definitely below average, but we do bounce back a bit here as we go through Monday. And I'm not sure what's going on with the model runs here. Let me back up to the 9Z run to see. There we go. There's Saturday, there's Sunday, and there's Monday. Monday kind of a bounce back here. We might get a nice day out of it. Some 80s showing up east of the mountains, some mid and upper 70s maybe for the Willamette Valley. And then we cool back down again here Tuesday as another system's going to swing through. So we'll be watching that on a daily basis. Now taking a look at the extended forecast, we got the European on the left versus itself. This is yesterday morning's run. So let's see what's changed. Here we go with that troughing system going across the region here as we go through the day. Saturday, the trough, and then the deep Gulf of Alaska low is going to be setting up here and spinning that precipitation as we go on into the early portion of next week. It hangs on. Let's see what the differences happen here. You can see on the newest run, more of a closed low here right over the Pacific Northwest versus more of a zonal flow on yesterday mornings, and a better ridge out over the Gulf of Alaska and the Pacific Ocean, I should say. You can see the ridge heights definitely amplified on this run versus yesterday morning's run. So then we put this into motion, kind of a transient ridge passes through, and then more troughing as we go on into the early portion of June. But you can see how as we go from model run to model run here, how things start to disagree as you look far enough out into the extended forecast. More of a trough here in the West Coast as we go on into early June. Now, if we look at the temperatures, what that would mean, Monday's been showing up as a pretty nice day here, but you can see otherwise we're going to be dealing with this troughing as we go through the weekend here, and then again through the midweek period. Then maybe a bounce back here. We'll see how that goes, but off in Fantasyland, the GFS showing some heat as we go through the early portion of June as well. And here's Bend, also dealing with the troughs, something similar here as well, kind of a roller coaster ride as we head on in towards the end of May and on into early June. Looking at Seattle, you can see, you're looking at a 10th, 1500ths of an inch of rain or so as we go on in towards tomorrow, and then another system midweek here. And then, of course, as you get off into the future, things look much more chaotic in these ensemble runs. You see some heavier precipitation amounts and some not showing anything at all. Looking at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, below average as we go on in through June 2nd. And this is the below average signal across some of the west, but you can see just clipping some of the northwest portion of Washington as we go May 29th through June 2nd. But anyway, yeah, so I'll be heading out today. I'm heading out to Dallas most likely here. I'm not sure how long I will hang out there for, but Saturday, tomorrow, looks like a pretty big day across some of the plains. And then it looks like some interesting high plains action out across the Texas Panhandle, maybe New Mexico, Colorado, western Kansas, Oklahoma Panhandle, stuff like that. So anyway, again, I like to extend all my thanks to all my members out here that monetarily support the channel. I could not do this without you guys. It makes it worth my while to get in here and do this every single day. The channel has grown more than we could have ever imagined here, and yeah, it's been very fun. It is my passion. I love doing it here, and just the fact that so many of you guys are interested in it and you got very intelligent conversations usually going on in the comments here makes it all the more fun. So anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.